So, as you know, there was a protest yesterday in Washington. This is quite an interesting situation because uh, first of all, I'm really glad that I learned more about this segment. Sorry, I'm glad that I learned more about the context of what happened yesterday before going live today. Because had I not learned what I learned a couple hours ago, I would have looked really foolish with this. But what I would like to share with you is my timeline of what happened. I didn't dig deep into this because there is such a flood of streamers and online journalists and people like that covering this that it was like drinking from a fire hose, and I knew that I had this stream to get ready for, and it was like let's focus on one thing at a time. So I was in my room, in my living room, vibing as we do, and then I hear that the some MAGA bros have stormed the Capitol, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I watched some Tim Pool videos on that really quickly. Like the fog of war was really thick at that time too, so even he wasn't sure of the details of what was going on. Besides, shots fired. They had entered the Capitol. Maybe I forget if the woman who got shot had been shot yet, but you get the deal. This is the kind of situation that evolves so quickly that it's hard to get certainty on it's important to miss important details while the story is still breaking and ongoing. So then I'm on my YouTube homepage and I see that Donald Trump tweeted a message. It was the message from the infamous tweet that got blocked. Let me actually, before going into my tweet right here that you can see, let me start by summarizing the message, because I initially rolled my eyes when he started off. The gist of it was, I agree with you. I'm trying to be careful because YouTube is doesn't like saying certain things about the election. So uh, it's hard for me to say what Trump was saying without potentially getting in trouble. That's why I'm struggling right now. So he started the video by saying, like, I agree with you, this is wrong, and blah blah blah, and then moved into, but this isn't the way to do it. And as I mentioned just before, when he started the preamble, I rolled my eyes because I'm like, it's basically done. All the Congress has to do is count the votes, and it's basically over. And to see him still writing on about what he feels happened on election night was eye rolling. And then after the video was over, I realized, you know what, this was actually a great video. The reason is he's talking to his boys, he's talking to the people who actually stormed the Capitol. And from a persuasion perspective, this is a classic case of pacing and leading. So the first step is to join people in their reality, and then from there you can just nudge them in the direction you want to go, which is why this very quick 1 minute message of I agree, this was wrong, but this isn't the way to do it, and you should go home. Please go home in peace, we don't want anyone getting hurt. After it was over, I'm like, this is the right move. So then, after that, I go on Twitter and I see that someone that I follow had tweeted that you can't tweet or reply to this video, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And in my screenshot, because I screenshotted this just in case the unexpected error has occurred, I'm sure that has something to do with it as well. But in my mind, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Twitter, you're making it worse. Like, there's no good, like, whether a human being made that decision to basically block the tweet, or whether a human being or an algorithm made that decision, I think that it's really bananas, because even though he led with the claims about his belief about the election, it was ultimately joining them in their reality so that he can talk them down. Even though I really do believe that Trump thinks that there were some significant shenanigans on election night. It's clear to me that he genuinely believes this. But the fact that fucking Twitter said this claim about election fraud is disputed, and this is what tipped me over for this is uh, this tweet can't be replied to, retweeted, or liked due to a risk of violence. The violence had already happened at that point, so, or at least some of it. The breaking and entering had definitely happened, and the idea of blocking this to prevent violence when violence was already ongoing, and this was a message to the MAGA boys. Um, it just blew my mind, and that's why it is my opinion that they made it worse. So after that chapter, I that was basically going to be my whole segment, and then I learned that there was actually a rally before the protest slash riot, and this is just a tangent. I think that comparing the events of yesterday to the Black Lives Matter protest from earlier is can be really telling, because you can tell whether or not the person talking about these things is based in principle or based on consequentialism. I was always of the opinion that the BLMers have a right to protest. I mean, I think most Americans would agree that even those who disagree with the movement were like, I like I'm fine with the protests. I could do without the rioting, that kind of thing. And there were some similar takes happening yesterday, and the mere fact that I'm not even sure whether to call it a riot or a protest is very it triggers a nostalgia of that time, even though nostalgia has positive connotations. That's not what I mean. So, where was I going with this? Oh, yes. Okay. So, earlier today, I learned that there was actually a rally before the march on the Capitol, before they bum rushed the Capitol and penetrated it. And you know, normally I'm on record as liking Trump rallies. I think watching Trump speak to his supporters is great memes. It's very entertaining, and the thing that fascinates me is whenever the media, it always fascinates me when the media takes something that Trump says at his rallies seriously, when he's clearly just memeing and vibing with his crowd, the people who are there for a show. But I gotta say, I watched his speech from yesterday, and I think he crossed the line in context. Like, it is I learned of the rally via Nancy Pelosi, who basically blamed Trump for instigating violence, and at that time I was still like, wait a second, how could you blame him for instigating violence? He was talking about, you know sending people home, but that is almost certainly not what Pelosi was talking about. She was talking about the rally, and having listened to it, yeah, that's not cool. In context, it is very easy to see, and Trump knew there was going to be a march after. He mentioned it. So even though these comments that I'm about to read were at the beginning of his speech, near the beginning, Jesus Christ, it's hard to interpret this any other way. These are a bunch of quotes that I'm just going to string together. So uh, these were all within the same segment, but there were some little things that I clipped out. I didn't have time to prepare more. We will never give up. We will never concede. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. We will stop the steal. Again, some of those, especially towards the end, some of those sentences were not stitched together as I just read them, but they happened close enough that I don't think adding the extra sentences in there is going to change much. So yeah, watching that in hindsight, knowing that I shouldn't laugh, knowing that soon after they would break into the Capitol building and some woman would get shot. Um, Jesus, man. Uh, I don't know what to say, but this is bad. This is really bad. You know, when I, as you may know, I have a lot of progressive friends. Some of them are straight up SJWs, and something that something that I've realized is given my past, let's say the past 4 years since the Trump era, it's way too long to go into these details, but given what I've learned about myself and about the discourse during the Trump era, I've been very sensitive to when progressives act in this holier than thou, virtue signally, preachy way that's really cringe. And they might mean well, but it's the kind of thing that makes me want to go back and hang out with hang out with people who um, it is now known are probably fascists, definitely reactionaries. So the reason I'm bringing this up is quite like when my friends would occasionally say these needlessly woke things in a way that would make me think, Jesus Christ, you're making me want to hang out with Nazis. And I would resent them for it in my thoughts. Like, why are you making me want to hang out with Nazis? To the MAGA boys who stormed the Capitol, you you're making me want to hang out with SJWs, and it fucking sucks. You know, like for months the leftist YouTubers that I watch, like Vosh, Xander Hall, that kind of thing, they've been talking in terms of a coup ever since before the election when Trump was just talking about the problems with mail-in ballots. And when you see shit like what happened yesterday, it's like this is vindication for them. Like you fucking stop the constitutional process in its midst. You forced what should have happened yesterday to happen today, which happened anyway. Biden's in, and it's just really bad optics. And it what I well no, I'm live. One of the things that I hate about it is that this vindicates the progressives who, back in, let's say, June, July, were talking about a coup, and that Trump was undermining democracy. Like when he fucking does his rally speech and you end up bum rushing the Capitol. That's not cool. It's really not cool. And right wingers are supposed to be the ones who are good at optics. This really surprises me. I'm glad. Well, actually, I don't know. I The fog of war is too thick. There are too many details. Maybe more people got hurt. I don't know. So I can't say much about that. But I hope not too many people are hurt. So yeah, it's a real shame. Uh, the way Trump is bitching and moaning, it really makes him look like the lunatic that his opponents have been saying he was for 4 years, which is a real shame. It's a real shame. Because I know he's smarter than his opponents think he is, but that election is sending him on a tailspin. And even though hey, you have the legal right to challenge, but when you lose, you lose. And hopefully, I know earlier he said that he was now going to focus on a peaceful transition, so that's good. But it's a shame that this is basically, I think this is mainly what he's going to be remembered for. And the people who've been reeing about how Trump is literally Hitler, whew, these, in just a couple hours, they were made to look right. And that's a shame. Oh boy. Anyway, that's it for this segment. If you like this, I'm gonna be doing these live streams once a week. So please like, share, subscribe to this. Pay attention when I go live. I try to announce it ahead of time, and leave comments below if you to let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you soon.